So anyway, on the line, as promised, is Andrew Baklik. He was the campaign manager for GOP challenger, now mayor-elect Rich Zekin. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and talking to the people of the Valley and the people of Derby.
Thank you for having me on. Very excited to stay involved. I was very excited to get involved, and I'm excited to talk to you guys.
So just going into Tuesday, did you have a feeling of complete nerves? Did you think it was going to be close? Did you think how did you think it was going to turn out?
Going into Tuesday, we had, all our measurables and all our metrics were showing that, yes, it was going to be close. We kind of had a range of possible outcomes that we considered. And, at this point, it really doesn't matter. So I can tell you what those ranges were. We had it looking like we were going to either win by as little as 53 votes or win by as many as 516 votes. I think the final tally was we won by 507. So I'm very surprised that it was on that high end, because during Tuesday, we were an absolute nervous wreck in headquarters. And for me, it's my first election day, my first involvement in an election day. And trying to crunch those numbers all day was an absolutely nerve-wracking experience. And I had us, at the end of the day, I had a piece of paper in my hand with my tally that showed us having 1,289 votes, people that we had identified. And I believe the mayor's final number was 1,292. So had that been accurate, we would have been so close that it would have required a recount. Luckily for us, and at the end of the day, that was not accurate. Huge victory to our amazement, but also, it showed that our hard work paid off. Zeke walked the doors, and that was our strategy from day one. He shook hands with 2,500 people who promised them his vote, and promised him their vote, and it worked out that way. So.
And now, what's happening in general? Now there's a transition of some type is going to take place or is underway. What happens in the next few weeks now? I guess my question is.
Well, right now we have a transition team put together, and we are interviewing people for appointed positions. We still haven't been in City Hall, believe it or not. Obviously today is Veterans Day. Thank you for your service to all the veterans that are listening. So we really couldn't do too much today. We have some interviews for different positions, and we're trying to get the lay of the land. We'll go to City Hall early next week, and obviously we have Mark Garofalo, who's back in as the city clerk. We have Keith McLiberty, who's back in as the treasurer. Those two guys are going to be valuable assets for us in the transition. They already know the lay of the land. Something as simple as, hey, where do you keep the extra toilet paper around here? Those guys know. So we're going to use those guys, tap into their knowledge, and hopefully they can just give us a quick tour around the building and introduce us to everybody who works there. And, we're looking forward to being inaugurated and getting in there. And I believe it's the first Monday in December that, our administration comes in and takes over. So we want to be as prepared as possible for that day.
And has the campaign or the transition team already reached out to Keith McLiberty and Mark Garofalo?
Yes, absolutely.
So
I personally have had multiple conversations with both of them. I know the mayor has had conversations with Mayor-elect, has had conversations with both of them. And, obviously they're both Democrats. We come from the Republican side of things, but I think you and I have had this conversation, Eugene. That really has never mattered to me. What matters to me is Derby. And I think we all are in agreement that we need to get to work. The financials that we blew the whistle on earlier this year are a reality. We are inheriting some of those issues. We are inheriting some of the good work that the mayor has done. We're grateful for that. But at the end of the day, Keith and Mark really have been on the ground floor of a lot of that stuff for quite some time. So their experience and their knowledge is going to be invaluable to us moving forward. And we've all pledged to work together and extend the olive branch across party lines and all that stuff. None of that matters. I don't think to anybody involved. At least that's what it seems so far. But
yeah, because I guess one thing that Mayor-elect Zekin is going to have to do is sort of bring the parties together. The Democrats are divided. I guess his plan is to act as a peacemaker with everybody. So it sounds like it's off to a start if you're in contact with Mark Garofalo and Keith McLiverty. It's all the moving parts are happening.
Yes, absolutely. I think you can safely say that.
So then just the thing that we were sort of talking about in this podcast now we're like deep into it. There was there were a bunch of stories. Kevin Rennie, a columnist for the Hartford Courant, had a column talking about Tuesday's election outside of the Valley, where the narrative was that, well, Democrats did well nationally, Democrats did well in the state of Connecticut, and this was Kevin Rennie described it as the Trump rebuke, that it's beginning, this sort of anti-Trump backlash is bringing people to the polls, and that had an effect on the elections Tuesday. Now, J.R. Romano countered that by saying, well, if you look at it closely, that's really not true at all. But I'm just wondering, do you think like the national party scene and the things that were happening nationally and President Trump or the National Democrats, the Al Frankens, did that have any effect? Did you hear any of that when you knocked on doors? Do you think that helped or hurt Rich Zekian in any way?
I think Rich had one person who went to the door that said, "Oh, you're Republican. I hate Trump," and he slammed the door in his face. One person out of 2,500 doors that he hit. So no, we didn't feel that at all, and I don't think we felt that in the Valley at all, really, to be honest with you. I think at this point, the people of Derby and the people of Ansonia, the people of Seymour, I think they're cognizant enough to realize that really the national picture doesn't matter much for us around here at this point. I mean, we have our own small town issues that have affected people here in the working class in a way that I don't think they really care party lines. I mean, Derby's 3-1 Democrats to Republicans, and we somehow pulled out a 507 vote victory. Oh, I mean, I think for us it was a non-factor, and we didn't want to get into the political game statewide. We didn't. We had the opportunity a couple of times to mention Governor Malloy and some of his policies, going to tie Mayor Delgado to that, and we chose not to go that route because really, what we care about is the citizens of Derby and trying to provide tax relief and make some good decisions.
I'll just jump in and say you broke up a little bit there, but you were just saying that you didn't take the opportunity to tie Mayor Delgado to Governor Malloy. Basically, you kept it very local.
I think we just felt like that was not a good strategy, and we all want what's best for Derby. And I said that multiple times about the mayor, about the aldermen. There's no question that if you get involved in politics on a local level, you have to have a care for your community. There's no doubt to me that the mayor had passion for Derby, and I know she was very upset, emotional when she won against Carmen. She was very upset and emotional when she lost the other night, and that just shows her devotion to the city, and we appreciate that about her. I didn't want to besmirch her by saying, "Oh, you're tied to the Democratic policies of Governor Malloy," because I don't know that really helped any of us.
Okay, and then my last question: you had mentioned the transition team. Like, how many people are on it? Who's on the transition team? Who's helping out at this point to get Mayor-elect Zekian ready to take office?
As of this point, myself, Mayor Zekian have taken a couple meetings by ourselves, just the two of us. I think it depends on what area we're looking at. We have a campaign treasurer in Judy Shevchuk who's got some clerical experience. She's helped us in that area a little bit when we're looking at administrative assistants and some other different positions where she's maybe a little bit more knowledgeable in some of the computer programs and things like that. We have Sam Palastro, who's the Republican Town Committee Chair, who has some experience working with unions and some of the other things that he's done that he brings to the table. So basically right now it's more been in the conversational phase with about a lot of these things. In terms of actual sit-down interviews, those will be happening over the next couple of weeks, and we're still trying to evaluate, what that's going to look like. Like I said, we still have to get into City Hall and talk to the department heads and talk to everybody, and we didn't want to count our chickens before they were hatched Election Day.
Sure.
So as a result, we've kind of come to the situation now where we have a lot of work to do between now and December when Rich actually walks into that building as the mayor.
Yeah, it's less than a month away.
Yes, less than a month away, and I think there was a lot of criticism of us not having a plan and everything. We've had a plan in the works for quite some time, and we've had a team in mind for quite some time. It's just a matter of now kind of fine-tuning that, really looking at the charter. There's a lot. I will say this, Eugene, this has been a challenge for us. There's a lot of positions in City Hall, appointed positions, where the definitions, I think we're going to be tweaking some of those and moving some things around and moving some responsibilities around. But part of that, too, is securing our legal counsel and figuring out what we can and what we can't do. So there's a lot of moving parts right now. There's a lot of things that are challenging, coming in. And the mayor, I know, has offered her help and support, and we're looking forward to getting in there with her and really kind of getting down to brass tacks and figuring all this out. So.
All right. So you're a busy man. You got a lot to do, so I'll let you go. But I really want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me, and actually for the whole campaign being easy to work with. So I do appreciate that. I
agree. I look forward to keeping everybody informed, and we'll be doing so through not only the city website, but definitely through Valley Indy. And we look forward to a long and fruitful relationship. So thank you for having me on. Appreciate it. And thanks for your great coverage of the debate and the elections. And I certainly was a fan long before I got involved. So thank you much.
All right. Take care, Andrew. Thanks a lot.